Hey, how's it going, everyone? Sinister of the Gamer section bringing you another review. Let's go ahead and get down to it. Today's game review is Trials of the Cold Steel 4. This game is available on the PS4 and 5, the Google Stadia, the Switch, and the PC. I'm basically going to break down everything, starting with the story. The story goes, this game follows the events of the previous game, Cold Steel 3. And so now, you got the covert army ready to invade the area, and it's up to Team 7 to take them out. But usually they suffer some casualties from what happened in the previous game. And also note, this game is the last of the entry. If you want to know about everything about the previous game, I will explain that later in the presentation. First, I'm going to start off with the audio. The audio is really good, especially with certain scenes that fits that move. Like if you're in town, it's like a little soft and mellow. When you're in combat, it has that, energy field, it gets more fast and rampant, gets you energized like to take out monsters and everything. Also, as I previously mentioned, there's an option at the beginning of the menu, it's called Backstory. It explains everything to you, like what happened to the previous 3 games, starting with Cold Steel 1 up until the 3rd game. It gives you details like all the characters, all the major events that happened. So basically, it gets you caught up without playing the games. So basically, you know what's going on. Now, for those who are fans of the series, they know what's going on. They play those games. They know what it's like, how it plays, how the story goes, etc., etc. And now, we're going to move on to the graphics. Graphically, this game looks amazing, especially on the PS5, which is the gameplay that you see in the background. It's silky smooth at 60 frames per second. The daytime scenes, especially when affects all the characters, it's bright, it's colorful, and the characters themselves are well detailed. They all have like the anime look. Hence this is a JRPG. As far as like the dark areas, like when you traverse in the buildings, you get a certain illuminations. As your characters are moving around from scene to scene. And speaking of scene to scene, usually like when the characters like talking to each other, usually it'll transition from one scene to another. It has a fade to black. It fades right into the next scene. And also, like, it introduces characters, so that way you know who they are. It's like, oh, yeah, you like this character, things like that. So, gives you, like, example, like, of who's who, so you know who you're going to use, especially in combat. Which I, go over in the gameplay. Gameplay-wise, like, standard JRPG, it's turn-based. Everybody takes a turn. Even your enemies take a turn. So basically, you got to strategize accordingly. So for those of the series, basically they know what's going on. For anybody that's new, when it comes to turn-based strategy, you got to, you can choose to attack, use magic, heal up, etc., etc. Because it is key in survival, especially you're gonna fight tougher monsters along the way. However, which is cool about the combat, you can team up with other characters, take out either one monster at a time to assist them, or you can rush all your monsters all at once, trying to take them out or weaken them up, so that way your teammates can take them out. And speaking with teammates, you can also switch them out, and depending on the situation, because certain characters have advantages against certain monsters, which is key in survival, like I mentioned earlier. The only gripe about this is basically like when you're not in battle and like traversing the areas, it's the camera. It can really throw you off. But however, you can change it around like to your liking, so make it easier on you. With that being said, we'll move down to the score. I give this game a 4 out of 5. For the latest news and reviews, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications.